All right, what is up, everybody? This is steviebreech coming to you. I have two of my favorite guests in the whole world. Good old WWE Punk fan 19, Zach, and Luke Cage 29. 2 years ago, we took an historic trip to Oakland, California for none other than the Elimination Chamber. One of the most popular videos I've ever done on my channel. We thought we would give you the behind the scenes true story of what happened. Mr. Luke Cage, can you tell us a story about how this trip came together?
I gotta go. No, I'm kidding.
Uh,
I was only half serious on going up there. It was actually Miguel that put the whole trip together, and I was sort of like, oh yeah, I'll tag along with you. If you're going, I'm going. So I bought the plane ticket, and Miguel, I'm like, well, what are you waiting for? He's like, I'm not going. So I'm like, oh shit, it's just gonna be me up there. But it ended up being for the best. It turned out way better than I expected. I definitely wouldn't take it back for the world.
all right, and they put it together where it was going to be me and you, and then behind the scenes, I knew of a little known YouTuber in my neighborhood, Mr. Zach here. I invited him. Zach, why the hell didn't you tell me how old you were before we went?
Wait. Well, I didn't know how old you were. I thought you were like, mid-20s. I know you're like old. Well, not old, but you know what I mean. But I didn't think it was that big of a deal at the time. And if anything happened, you guys did anything to me, I can call the cops and say you molested me. I didn't even know he was tagging along. Like, just Steve said, all right, we're gonna pick him up. I'm like, pick who up? Oh, you didn't. You messaged me on like Twitter, like, oh yeah, here's my number if you got a text or anything. Like, you knew I was going. I don't recall. I can pull it up.
He's saving text messages from 2 years ago. All right, here we go. So we were all set up. I went and picked up Mr. Luke Cage at the airport in the morning. I took him back to the Sacramento. I gave him the finest tour I could. We stopped by the historic Howard's Donuts. Luke, was it everything you thought it would be?
Oh, it was all hype. That was a piece of shit donut shop. Wait a minute. I'm kidding. No, it was great. I like that little Chinese lady that works there. Shout out to her. Thank you.
All right, we go back from there. We come back to my house since we have a little time to kill. We didn't want to head out straight to Oakland and ride through Ghetto Town, USA. One of the funnest things I think we did the whole time, Luke, was we checked out an episode of TNA Impact. Do you remember the border toss from Hernandez?
Oh, that was sick. I think it was on not Pete Williams, I'm sorry, Doug Williams. Man, we were just picking that apart, though, that impact on your DVR. We didn't hold back that morning.
It was a non-stop shoot-a-thon. I apologize to everybody. It wasn't my first, but it was one of my first day in the lives, and I honestly I didn't shoot as much as I should have. If it was like the WrestleMania trips, the video would be 45, maybe an hour long. But yeah, that was one of the things I wish we would have put in there, a little impact commentary for everybody.
You know what was awkward was when you brought me back to your house, and then your wife came out of nowhere. It kind of felt like she walked in on us having a one-night stand.
Oh. Okay, that was honestly a little weird for me too, and that was why we left so fast. It was like my Skype life mixed with my real life, and there was like I don't know how long, like everybody was in the same room, 2 or 3 minutes, but yeah, it was definitely time to go. We texted our good buddy Zach, and we had our first miscommunication of the day.
I don't remember. Right, let me tell the story, right? So, the day before, I got my phone taken away, because this is when I was starting to slack off in school. So I had no phone, so I couldn't text either of you. The only way I can communicate with you guys is, through Twitter. So I was sitting on my computer, when I tweet you guys, and you guys said you're going to pick me up at the gas station, down the corner. I ran back at least 3 or 4 times to the gas station and back to see, where you guys were at, because I didn't know how long it was going to take. So I kept running back and forth, like, oh, are they there? No. I run back to my house, check my Twitter, see you guys are at, back and forth. And eventually, I see you guys pulling open the truck, guys smiling, and you guys open the door, and I got in, and we hit the road.
Even before that, we had the most awkward pickup ever. For some reason, Luke sees Zach on the side of the road, so I stopped to pull over. Luke just opens the door in the middle of traffic for him to get
I
in.
remember that. 'Cause I didn't close
with
the door when I got in. I just left
with
it open.
cars behind us just looking at us like, you're really gonna pick him up right now? Like, there's nowhere else you can pick him up?
Well, I almost opened the door for some teenager that looked exactly like him. This guy was wandering the gas station in a hoodie. I'm like, oh, there he is. Zach. He turns around. We're like, oh, never mind.
You want to go to the chamber, little boy? All right, from there, we head off on the trip to Oakland, and this is where the birth of Luke Cage taking over the vlog. This was Luke's first trip, or first time holding a flip camera. Is that true, Luke?
Yeah, it was, and I was just fascinated with it. I'm like, this is a nice little machine, and I just couldn't stop filming with it, and it turned out to be my daily vlogs on your channel.
And I apologize. I apologize to you, Zach. We didn't put you in the video almost at all. Like,
I honestly don't blame you, because when on the way there, I barely even talked to begin with.
yeah, but you do definitely steal the show, trolling Luke the whole time from
Thank
the
you for bringing that up. I was going to, but thank you for bringing that up. Unbeknownst to me, I was flipping you off. I was doing all kinds of things. You didn't even notice.
Luke
Not
didn't
till,
notice.
Like 2 years later.
Yeah.
I was just watching him like a couple months ago, and I'm like, wait a minute, and I pause it, and he's just totally flipping me off as I'm trying to be serious.
You're trying to be serious doing your Scott Hall impression.
Hey, look. Yeah. Remember our 420 Goonie impersonations or impressions? That's right. Word the Goonie. Yeah.
All right. Also, one thing I learned about Luke on the way to the chamber, since this was the first, we had met at the SummerSlam that year, but this is the first time that we had really hung out like a whole day. Because SummerSlam we just met and then we said our goodbyes, right? We didn't.
Yep.
Yeah, there was no hugs, there was no sleeping on the couches or anything like that. I learned that you like to take your camera with you as your own personal TV. Most people take videos and pictures of their vacations and things like that, and then they upload it onto their camera, and they keep their camera empty to save things for the day. What do you do, Luke?
I basically keep the stuff I recorded from shows on there. Like, I have Rock's Return still on my camera from 2011.
It's been 2 years, Luke. It's time to let it go.
Yeah. No, I did have to let it go of a lot of things, but that's one thing I'll never get rid of. Rock's Return, and I didn't get Rock's Return on there, but I don't know. It's nice if you're on a road trip somewhere, you got the airport, you just pull it out and watch it.
Most people have like an iPhone or an iPod, and you can hook it up to YouTube and just watch whatever you want.
Hey, I got 30 minutes of memory. I can fucking just keep it on there. I don't give a shit. You know what? Now let's talk about learning something about you.
All right, here we go.
Okay, 30-second theme song.
Oh,
man.
Okay.
This guy.
I love wrestling themes. Although most of them are very, very repetitive. I like just the 30 seconds I found gets you, for most guys, there are some people that I'll keep the whole song for, not many, but it's basically like a Royal Rumble intro. You hear the beginning part that makes you want to pop, and by the time you get sick of it, the next one comes on.
I'm not buying it because it's just like, fuck, it's the girl cutting your dick off right before you're about to blow your wad. That's basically what it feels like. And like sometimes on the theme songs, like they have a long intro. By the time you get the good part, it just stops. Exactly. Because 30 seconds.
Aww.
Like Cena's, it has like this intro, and when it gets to the good part, it stops.
That's all I need. 30 seconds of Cena. They go, Avenue. Yeah, that's it. Done.
Hey, Luke. Yeah. How can we forget about Steve singing Michelle McCool's theme song?
Oh.
You're not enough for me. Until it cut off, of course. Oh, yeah.
All right. Michelle McCool is one of my guilty pleasures. I don't listen to it as often as I used to 2 years ago, but it's mostly because she's not on TV, and Layla doesn't use the theme anymore. But when it was at its peak, that was like my daily like pump up work song. Like you're driving to work, you get that, and you're in the mood to do whatever the hell any customer wants you to do at work.
I'm buying it.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, the ride to Oakland was pretty peaceful until we arrived close to where the arena is. And now me and Luke have gone on a lot of trips through a lot of cities. We've been to with Miguel, we've gone through downtown LA. With with us, we've been to Atlanta, Oakland,
Vegas.
oh well, the Vegas. We didn't really leave the airport, but
I love
well,
Vegas.
you have your own Miami story, but I mean, every time we've gone somewhere for a wrestling event, we have got lost somewhere along the way.
Yep.
I sent us through probably the worst neighborhood in Oakland possible.
Sure.
And Tom, this is only the first time in this story you're gonna let us down, but I don't know. We were basically looking for a ATM for Luke to get some money so we could go get something to eat. I believe is what we were trying to do.
Yes.
And for some reason, I think they thought the ATM was going to be located in somebody's driveway because we went through some town that is straight ghetto with basically the street in the neighborhood was as wide as my truck was, and I remember people on bicycles following us and just being like, "Let's get the hell out of here ASAP." That's about it. From my other videos that I've talked about this, I think most people know where I'm going from here. We went to go get something to eat, mostly because the arena wouldn't let us in. And this is before that. And I had come down with something very, very bad the night before. And honestly, if this was like me and Zach going on this trip, and like just Zach lived down the street, I would have called Zach that day and be like, you know what? I'm too sick. We're not gonna go to the show. I apologize, but I can't pull this off. But when somebody flies, all morning to get to where you are, you can't really get to the airport and be like, yeah, we're not going because I can't get there. So I basically manned up and went to the show anyways. And did you know how sick I was before we went out to eat?
Hell no. It wasn't until you threw up that I knew. Actually, I think you just told me like 6 months ago that you would have never went if I never flown up there. I was like, wow, it was really that bad.
Oh yeah, we went and we pulled into that. We pulled into that In-N-Out parking lot, and for me that was like desperation. I ran from the drive-through. I told Luke what I wanted, and I said, "All right, you're in charge of the Wrestle Cruiser. I'm gonna go inside." I don't even know if I told you that's what I was, because most like people are a little embarrassed, like to meet people like first time, like doing actually admit that you go to the bathroom.
Right.
And I was about to go drop some bombs and see if that's what my problem was. So I go in, handle my business at the In-N-Out. I come out and find Luke Cage in the driver's seat. And how far had you moved in the drive-through?
He almost killed us. Well, because Steve is a granny and he likes to put on his emergency brake everywhere he goes. And I don't know anyone that does that unless you live in San Francisco. There's no reason to put on that emergency brake. When you're parking, nevertheless. Yeah, we're in the drive-through. I moved maybe about 8 feet, and I felt pretty accomplished.
You didn't move 8 feet. You were still where I dropped you off at.
You didn't know how to drive.
I come back, and there's 8 feet of There's 8 feet of empty space in between Luke and the car in front of him because he doesn't know how to go, and he's revving up the engine.
Because I had no idea you put it in emergency park.
He didn't know how to drive. But yeah, that was my favorite. So I kick him out of the driver's seat, pump him over. I buy us some food. For some reason, I felt like a milkshake was a good idea.
And a grilled cheese.
And a grilled cheese, because there's no meat on it. I didn't think my stomach could handle the meat, but I thought my stomach could handle a large helping of milk. Anybody who's ever had a bad stomach before, milk is not the right answer. And that lasted in my stomach maybe 10 minutes while we waited in line to pull into the parking lot. All right, I threw up everywhere. It wasn't in the car. But for like Zach, a person that I met for the first time, Luke, a person that I'm meeting for the second time, when somebody pukes in front of you, it's pretty awkward. What were you guys thinking as I was yakking all over the side of Oakland?
I didn't know either to like laugh because it was kind of funny or like show concern. Like I don't know what to do. Like it's kind of awkward situation. Hey Luke. Yeah. Before you tell your like thoughts, tell us your biggest regret about that. Oh, my biggest regret's not filming it without question. Because it's actually pretty humorous.
I wish somebody would have filmed it. There's money in that. There's money to be made.
I had the flip in my hand, and I'm like, well, if this was me, I wouldn't want anyone filming me either. But now that you say that, I really regret it. But
Yeah, I'm pretty much all in. If anything happens to me, it's good to go.
But there was no indication that that was going to happen. We were just like in line, and all of a sudden, I just see your head hanging out of the car door, like.
I was trying, like, I don't know how to describe how sick I was. Like I could feel the bubbles, like it was like Ghostbusters 2 ooze inside my stomach, just like bubbling up. I felt like I had the cold sweats. Like, hey, that was not a good day for me. But when I did release all over the side of the road in Oakland, I honestly felt a whole lot better. I honestly was like wanting to go into the show just so I would get out of the sun, and I thought maybe it would be cooler inside. But I don't know. Just once we got inside, all my worries went away. It was all about Elimination Chamber and some John Cena action, and I never really felt sick after throwing up. Maybe I just should have made myself throw up before we left.
Yeah, it looked like you left Mario Kart oil slick all over the road. But I didn't even know Steve was sick that day until like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, all right. Well, from there we pull into the parking lot where the most historic thing of the whole day happens. We are charged $35 to park one car. I'm not 100% sure, but I think tickets for the show were, what do you think they were, $40?
1,000.
No, but it was basically like, my car's not even gonna watch the show and I'm paying for him to have a ticket.
Steve.
Yeah.
I think the ticket I paid for was like $35.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a steal to head to Oakland that day. That was one of the cheapest tickets I bought. I mean, like, gosh, floor seats for Raw and SmackDown now is the $100 range. So I wish we could get tickets for $35 again. Jeez, but $35 to park my car. Just out of impulse, I told the lady that she raped me, which Luke, who filmed almost everything except for the puke, got, and that's probably the one thing that most people remember about the trip more than anything else. Once we got inside the show, it was pretty much a normal show, right, Luke? Nothing really great to talk about.
Normal show. Yeah. Well, first thoughts going in there at like.
Oh, there is. I forgot that. Okay, yeah. You talk about the show, and then we'll talk about the text messages.
Oh, I was just talking about my initial reaction of the chamber itself. I remember just going in there. I'm like, wow, this is the almighty chamber that I've been looking forward to for the past 9 years. Like, this is it. Because that was always on the bucket list. I think that's on almost every wrestling fan's bucket list, is to see an Elimination Chamber match in person. Because, it looks like this amazing structure on TV, but when you get there, it's so much smaller than you thought it was going to be. But, yeah, it's still good.
Mr. Zach made him what am I trying to say here? You got yourself on TV pretty much, and you're on the DVD for about half a second, right?
Yeah, I'm even on Orton's DVD. You can see me during his entrance in his documentary. I was popping huge for that, but yeah, you can see me and Del Rio's entrance on the pay-per-view, just trolling in the background.
We bought our tickets separate. I think me and Luke bought our tickets the day of the pre-sale, and I don't think I got to Zach and asked him if he wanted to come for about a month or two. So that's the reason why we were separate. It wasn't because Zach smells or anything like that. But
Yes, it is.
So we're sitting down. My main concern of being at that show mostly is wanting to buy the new Rock shirt. What slogan was on the Rock shirt? It was the
He brings it. I bring it shirt.
Yeah, the I bring it shirt. That was the number one thing of the day. I just remember that the place you walk around to find the section you sit in, in Oakland. And the arena there is very small. Basically, every few feet, you're either trying to cut through a merch stand or a hot dog stand. It just wasn't set up that well. Lines were hella long. Everybody wanted the same shirt because Rock had just returned the Monday before. Even though he wasn't going to be there, I'm sure they sold more Rock shirts than anything else that day. So that was the only thing I was worried about. So I had got up during the Kofi versus Alberto Del Rio match, a match that I felt that was just non-needed because Del Rio had already won the Royal Rumble the month before, and I just didn't think this needed to be on pay-per-view pretty much. And as I'm waiting in line to try and buy this shirt, I'm receiving text messages that I thought was a joke, saying, "Do you know where Zach is?" And I don't know what to do, and I basically just feel that like, because Zach's a guy that we had talked to on Skype a couple times, but I figured that he might have had like a couple of his friends just texting me trying to bust my balls or something like that. It wasn't until Luke got a text saying the same thing that I really started to overthink it and went to find Zach and tell him that he needed to call home because home was worried where he was.
Okay.
What happened that day, Zach?
All right, this is what happened. So, like I said earlier, I had my phone taken away like the day before, so I couldn't really, text anyone and tell them where I was at. So I told my parents a few days before the show that, hey, Sunday I'm gonna be going to, a show, my friend. And I don't know what happened. I guess they forgot it was on Sunday because, Sunday when I woke up, they, I don't even know where they went. But I was home alone when I woke up, to say that. And I guess when they came home, they're like, where is he at? They didn't know it was that day, I guess. They forgot, whatever. So they were just basically, texting people I know, wondering where I was at. And, eventually after the show, I called them like, yo, I'm here, I'm fine. They're like, oh, all right. They basically just forgot. That was the whole thing.
I was scared for my life that I was going to be waiting for cop cars when we arrived back in our hometown of Sacramento.
Let's back up a minute. We forgot to mention when we were standing in line for the show. If you're out there listening, there was this asshole fan that had like maybe 3 or 4 replica belts with him.
Oh, shut up. Hey, hold on. Sorry to interrupt you, but you're sitting here the entire time, like, trying to convince me to take a picture of one of his titles.
Because you had the Daniel Bryan shirt on, I wanted you to take a picture of the U.S. title that he had.
I didn't want to, and I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, oh, you got it. I'm like, no, I'm fine.
But it was this guy bragging about all his replica titles, and he said, oh, yeah, I even got busted by security because they thought I was selling them because I had so many. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But that was... And then when Steve went to go get his sweatshirt
Hold on, Luke. What? That guy's even bragging all the shows he's going to. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Raw tomorrow, then SmackDown on Tuesday. I'm like, dude, how many shows do you go to?
Yeah, I even saw him there the next night because I went to that Raw as well. I saw him there.
Bakersfield? Where was that, Raw? You left there and you went to Fresno or something like that?
Yeah, I basically, when I got back to the airport in San Diego, I drove all the way from there to Fresno for the 2/21/11 Raw to see Sting debut. That's why I
went. Lucky man. All right, so we watch our show. We see Cena win the Chamber. We saw Miz beat Lawler. This was a real memorable show. We saw. That's about it. I'm pretty sure we saw the debut of Trish Stratus.
Debut.
The return.
I said
There's a difference, Steve. There's a huge difference.
I said it just for you, Zach. All right. After the show, we told Zach to meet. We said meet right here next to this basketball player's cutout. I don't remember what it was, but me and Luke wait, and we can't find you. We immediately go into desperation. We lost our friend mode. What were you thinking, Luke?
Well, I obviously thought he got kicked out, and that was the case, but it got to the point where we were looking for him so long. We went back into the arena, and security, there was a whole group of them, as if they were sent by, like, the guy who ran the building. Like, get out. I'm like, what?
We lost our friend.
He's like, I don't give a shit. But we basically got kicked out like Jericho out of a WCW arena. They escorted us out of the arena, and we got outside the arena. And we're like, oh, great, he's in there somewhere, and we see him like from 100 feet away in jorts and a shirt when it's fucking like 30 degrees outside. Like, this guy's nuts.
I saw him waving his trophy in the air. What was it you had?
Okay, hold on. Let me tell my side.
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Every time you guys tell the story, I always get buried. All right, this is what happened. So after the show, I went to the merch stand to get the new rock shirt, you know? So I'm standing in line. They took forever, by the way. I don't know what their deal was. They just took forever. So I got the shirt, and, like, I was just staring at it, just walking, like, away. And I was such, like, memorized by it. I accidentally walked out of the arena. I'm like, oh. So I try to go back inside, and they're like, no, you can't come back inside. I'm like, well, I kind of need to. They're like, no, you can't come back inside. They're basically, you know, kicking me out and they want me back in. So I'm like, oh, crap. So I'm like, you know what? They're not going to see me. So I just said, screw it. Eventually, they're going to go back to the car. So I just walked to the car, and I just stood there for probably, like, 20 minutes.
I think you were out there for an hour. I think you were out there for a long time.
No.
We were looking for you for forever.
At least 20, 25 minutes for looking for him, sure.
Honestly, wasn't surprised. I don't know. I'm honestly surprised guys didn't see me, like, by the merch stand, because I was there for a while. I'm like, wow, I would have thought they would have walked by.
No. It was cluttered as fuck. It was so crowded.
It was dude, some guy tried to freaking fight these kids. They tried to cut in line.
God.
He's like, go with your parents, I'll fight them right now. I'm like, dude, calm down. He really did. I'm like, calm down. It's just a merch line.
Steve, why'd you do that? Go get your fucking parents. Let's fight.
We fight on Fridays.
Oh, that's right. But this was on Sunday. So,
Church day.
All right. From there, we just basically drove home. We were scared of Zach's parents, so I think we dropped him off 2 blocks from his house and said, "Run home, little boy." Is that basically how the send-off went?
Pretty much. You're like, get out. I'm like, okay.
Bye, buddy.
Looks like I'll see you soon. I'm like, no, you're not.
You're probably not. It's been 2 years. So.
Aw. But I don't know. That was a good way to bring Zach into the club. It wasn't really till like how long before you really became like Luke's best buddy, like basically being in our calls all the time, because you weren't like in our calls for a long time.
I started to like be there daily. Well, let's say daily, like, you know, every other day. Like, I think July that year, I started being in there a lot more.
Yeah, I remember it was the summer of like 2011.
Yeah, Punk and everything.
And then it really started like going like around 2012.
Oh, I was there like every day.
Yeah, it became like an everyday thing. But like at first, I didn't. I mean, I knew of him. I wasn't like, you know, I've seen like at least a dozen or so of your videos, and I didn't know you extremely well.
Not like Extreme Nick.
Oh my goodness, no. But I'd say that trip was important, and he's actually my best friend now. Who would have thunk it? That someone I barely knew 2 years ago. He was just sort of like, I don't know, like a tag along, and now he's my best friend. So it's kind of odd how that worked out, but it was pretty cool. I wouldn't take that trip back for the world.
Yeah. Then from there we go back to my place for the me tucking Luke in on the couch.
I want to put Steve's couch over for a second. It's no longer in his house, but he had the most comfortable couch. I got to tell you, Steve, for him to put me up in his house when he's got a family there and everything, that just shows you how nice he is. Like,
I forgot.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. You can keep putting me over, but I forgot the most.
You over, and then you ruined it.
No, the most awkward part of the whole trip is we didn't get back in time.
Get back.
Basically, thank you for putting over the couch, but basically we missed our curfew. We missed the best part of the whole trip was that damn Tom ripping us off.
Oh yeah, after the show.
Okay, so here's what happened. It was maybe an hour after the show, and I noticed we're going down some really steep hills. And as a former resident of San Francisco, I said, this looks awfully familiar, but there's no way in hell he got us to San Francisco. And I just occasionally, I look over to Steve, and I'm like, we wouldn't happen to be in San Francisco, would we? And you're like, yep. As we're going down a roller coaster of a hill, I'm like, oh, that's nice. I wonder how we ended up here. And it turned out that the GPS screwed us over not once, but twice. So onesailaday.com, suck a chode.
When was the last time you checked out One Sail a Day?
Maybe a couple weeks ago, but that's beside the
point. Wait a minute.
I was curious. I haven't bought from them since 2011, and it's going to stay that way.
I haven't been on that site in like 2 years.
I haven't bought from either. Billy Paz sent me a text the other day. He was like, yo, One Sail a Day got an app now. And I'm like, I honestly sort of forgot about that site.
Good.
Yeah, but if you see a TomTom for sale, I'd recommend passing on that one. I still own it, but I mostly use the GPS on my phone whenever I'm going anywhere now, but it's just a whole lot easier. So basically, we get home from the show a whole lot later than we're supposed to. My curfew that night was 10:30. That's the time that my wife leaves to go to work, so she can work the night shift at her job. So she basically had to take my kids to work with her, and I had to pick them up. So it was me, Luke, and Zach picking up my 2 kids, and I had to strap my 2 kids in the back seat with Zach.
That was weird.
That was weird.
Staring at me, I'm like, hello.
Little Steve's.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was one thing. There was a little. I felt bad. It wasn't. I wasn't like I'm embarrassed of my kids, but like it was. I just felt bad for Zach that he had to be in that position of being strapped in the back seat with them, not basically knowing them at all. I guess so. It felt weird for me as well too.
It was actually a funny scene, like turning around and see him like in the middle with your kids. It looked so awkward. Like, oh my god, it was funny.
They kept staring at me like, "What do you want?"
You tried to make the best of it. Like,
you want $1? Leave me alone.
I'm talking about you giving kids dollars, Steve.
Uh-oh.
Mexico cruise, boy. That's another time.
Well, we head back to the house. We probably get here, I don't know, probably 11:30ish. Luke's got to get to the airport probably. I think we woke up at 4 to get you there. I think your flight left at 6.
Like that, yeah.
Somewhere in that time range. So basically there was no late night talk. It was just basically like, here's a pillow, here's a blanket, go to bed. And I woke Luke up in the morning, and I went out there, and I don't know how, it's weird waking people up when you don't really know them that well.
Right.
I walked up and I tapped Luke, and I was like, all right, Luke, we gotta go. And I went back in my room and got dressed. Came back out, and Luke is, I guess, a heavy sleeper. He was still asleep. I had to sort of like give him like a little wanky.
Tap on the ass.
There was no taps on the ass. It was all shoulder touches. It's just like sexual harassment talk at work.
As far as I heard.
Yeah. Hope you didn't feel that last night.
I didn't get much sleep though. That's why I was like, I got to your house with maybe an hour of sleep under my belt because I was so excited about the trip and all the traveling.
He was so excited about the trip, he forgot to take off his TNA shirt. Mr. Rob Van Dam would have been proud that day.
I cut that shirt to shreds. It's given me more trouble than I.
It came back to haunt you. I even told you that when you were wearing it.
I didn't think anyone had a problem with RVD, but I guess so.
Nobody's got a problem with RVD. He's just the most underutilized guy in wrestling today.
It's the company of the shirt you're wearing. That's the problem.
There you go.
Some people would look past that, but I guess.
So Luke gets on his flight.
Wait. We forgot to talk about our first video we made together in the Wrestle Center.
Getting hit with that whatever it was.
The chair shot heard round the world.
This is what threw me off, and I'm telling you, this is like at least 75% of the reasons why I didn't lay it in you.
Can I say something real quick first?
You got it.
I still give Luke shit to this day about this.
Exactly, he does. No pun intended. Exactly, but he basically told me right before we filmed. He said, "Don't Jeff Hardy me."
Oh.
He referred to the incident where Jeff Hardy hit Mr. Anderson so hard in the back of the head with a chair that he cut his head open, and he got a really nasty gash. So that's all I thought about when I had that chair in my hands. So I fucking gave him. I didn't even come in contact with him. I did a little stomp, and it looked like I hit him with it. It was to the point where he didn't even know he got hit. So it was like 5 seconds after the blow that he finally fell to the ground. It's like, oh, I fall now.
Then
if
I woke
it wasn't
up.
for you saying that, I would have laid it into you.
Then my lack of editing skills, I get up and laugh in your face, and I cut the video.
Yeah, like I paused, to give you some time to cut it, but then you could see me break kayfabe right there. And your stupid garage door opener still haunts me to this day.
Oh, that's a good day. That is a good day. And then from there, what's taken off a life of its own. I drop you off at the airport, and you were my first victim of the "you're a bitch" thing, which I don't even know where it came from.
It just pulled it out of your ass and said it, and you started a trend, really.
It's pretty mean when you think about it, especially when you go back and watch the first one when I give it to Luke.
Yeah, he said, "You're a bitch." I said, "Okay."
Look, we're just saying, like, catch you on the flip side or whatever.
Oh, shit. I'll see you on the other side, I think it was.
We actually, that was in February. Come April, we're hanging out in Atlanta. We're having the time of our lives in the, what was that place we stayed in?
I don't know, but we had our own kitchen.
How many times did you use the spoons?
Oh, I didn't touch the fucking shit.
But we had a kitchen if we needed it.
Yeah, it was there.
We had a stove. We could have been making top ramen the whole time.
That's for another video, though.
There you go. We'll try and hook that up someday when you have the wrestling roundtable. We'll get all 5 members in here at once screaming over each other.
Oh, God. But I just want to say in closing that it was extremely nice of you to put me up in your house. I could have, spent a lot of money at a motel somewhere in Sacramento or whatever, but the fact that you let me sleep on your couch with all your family there and making it awkward, seeing your kids and your wife and just being a part of your daily routine, I just sort of the guest there. That was really cool. I'll never forget that. That was really cool of you.
You're welcome. Anybody's welcome to send me a private message. The couch is always able for rent. Not you or you, the other guy, not you. But yeah. Whenever something's big in California, Luke, you're always welcome to come here or to Zach's house, or you can sleep in the park that is located in between our houses.
Next time there's a pay-per-view up there, you got my word. I'm coming.
Hey, Luke.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if you didn't say it at Steve's, I'm pretty sure, not taking a shot at you, but you look pretty young. I'm pretty sure you could have passed as one of my friends.
So what are you trying to say about me over here?
Let's not get started.
Aw. Maybe your friend's dad is homeless and he needs somewhere to stay.
Well, no.
Aw, your dad been sleeping the whole time. He wouldn't even know I'm there.
Probably true.
That was cool hanging out with you too, Zach, because that kind of like broke the barrier in terms of us becoming better friends,
I didn't even talk to you.
Well, I know, but
said a word.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but it just...
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, it sort of broke the barrier because I think we had talked on Skype before, and it was kind of like, awkward highs or whatever, but hanging out for the day, I thought it helped.
I gotta tell Steve this. I don't know if he knows this or not.
Uh-oh.
But remember when we were standing in line, and you went back to your truck to get your sweater?
Uh-oh.
It was me and Luke, and it was like the most awkward thing at the time for me. I'm like, all right, I'm surrounded by this guy who I don't even know. What did I say? So that entire time you were gone, we basically didn't say a word.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it would never be like that now. It just goes to show you how far. I mean, that was just 2 years ago. That's insane.
That is some good times. That'll teach everybody to reach out to your neighborhood wrestling fans, and you never know what could happen.
I would do that trip again in a heartbeat, though.
Yeah.
How about doing a trip to 30?
WrestleMania 30. You never know.
See, WrestleMania 30, it's already in the works. We're all coming together. Drew Brees is letting the world know we're all heading to New Orleans.
I know, right? We'll have a chamber reunion 3 years in the making.
My wife, I was reading that today, and I told her, I said, oh, Drew Brees, I think she knows who he is. I was like, Drew Brees finally is the guy to admit that WrestleMania is going to be in New Orleans. And she goes, are you going? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I've never been to New Orleans. I said, after I come back from this trip, I never will have either. I won't know what's going on there. I'm not going there to see the French Quarter. I'm not going there to drink on Bourbon Street. I'm going there
Bring your scuba gear, bud. It's gonna be a hoot. Bring your canoe to New Orleans, bud.
I'm gonna go see Brock Lesnar versus The Rock, and that's all that matters to me.
So I can only hope.
Well, we're gonna get it one way or another. It's either gonna be LA or it's either gonna be SummerSlam Romania.
No, it's gonna be in Beijing, China.
Oh man, I wouldn't go to that.
Thank you.
It looks at 5 stars because we're in the Tokyo Dome.
It's not 5 stars because it did not take place in the Tokyo Dome. God damn it! 4 3/4. Let's end this.
All right, we're done.